Hello everybody and welcome to another video in ASAP Physics. In today's video, we're going to be covering the basic concepts of the power rule and the most important chain rule. So let's really quickly look at what the power rule's definition is. So as you can see here, we have the function x to the power of n. Now if we take a derivative of the x to the power of n function, then we have to use a power rule. So the power rule states that first you bring down the n and multiply it with the x. After that, in the exponent, you're going to subtract the n value by 1. Therefore, the final result you should have for the derivative of this x to the power of n function is n times x to the power of n minus 1. This is basically the standard formula for the power rule, which becomes really important throughout calculus. Now let's do a few practice problems regarding the power rule. So let's really look at what the power rule actually is. Well, let's have an example, 4x to the power of 4 plus 3x squared. And this is the f of x function. Now, if we want to figure out the derivative, which is nothing but the f prime of x, then we have to use the power rule here. Well, the power rule states that first you bring this number and multiply it with the constant in that expression. So over here, it would be 4, so we bring the 4 down, times 4, x. The power rule also states that you have to subtract 1 from the exponent. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So the derivative of 4x to the power of 4 using the power rule is nothing but 16x cubed. Now if we do the same thing with the other side, we bring the 2, multiply with the 3, which gives us 6, subtract 1 from the exponent, 2 minus 1 is just 1, so it's x to the power of 1, which is nothing but 6x. So the derivative of f of x is nothing but f prime of x is equal to 16x cubed plus 6x. And this is using the basic power rule. Now let's do another quick challenging problem regarding the power rule. So let's say we have something like 1 over x squared plus x to the power of 4. So in this scenario, we have to be a little careful. We need to rewrite this expression in another way because dealing with this is pretty difficult. So let's rewrite this in a different way. F of x is equal to, now if you can convey back to your algebra skills, you can also write this as x to the power of negative 2. We could keep the x to the power of 4 as that's in standard notation, which is what we need. So now f prime of x, which is the notation for the derivative in calculus, equals, so don't worry if you see x to the power of negative 2, it is still a pretty easy problem. Just apply the chain rule here. So we bring the negative 2 down, negative 2 times, the 1 is the number that is before the x, so it's the constant here. So it's still the power rule, times x, now the power minus 1. So negative 2 is what's in the power right now, and when you subtract it by minus 1, that goes to negative 3. And then using the power rule in the second part of the expression or equation, we have 4x cubed. Simple power rule there. Now, let's simplify this, and the final derivative, or the first derivative of this function, is nothing but negative 2 x to the power of negative 3 plus 4x cubed. And that's a cube. Okay, good. And so the answer for this is f prime of x is equal to negative 2x to the power of negative 3 plus 4x cubed. Now, if you find yourself in a multiple choice test, this part can also be written as negative 2 over x to the power of 3, as that's literally the same notation and same meaning. Thank you so much for listening to this video on the power rule. See the following video on more problems on the chain rule and an explanation of this most important rule.